James just asked me how many questions I'm gonna answer from this, and I said I don't know because I'll just go with the flow and see how it turns out. Okay, so the first question I'm gonna take is from Fatima. She asked how I found out I was first pregnant and the first emotions that ran through my head and through me. I guess I found out in Korea during Seoul Fashion Week. I might have mentioned this before and you guys might have already heard the whole story of how we found out. But in terms of how I was feeling then, in fact I was a little bit in denial because I didn't actually think I would get pregnant that soon. And somebody else asked along the way if this was a planned pregnancy or if it was an accident. I wouldn't say it is an accident because James and I mean, we were not trying for a baby and neither were we not trying. So I guess it was more like, you know, it comes whenever it comes, and this bomb just dropped on us because it wasn't like at the top of my head, but I wasn't even like counting my periods and trying to figure out like whether I might possibly be pregnant, but we decided to do the test and I was pregnant. And while being in denial, I was incredibly happy. It still felt a little surreal then because I wasn't 100% convinced that the test I did was actually correct. We actually got a Korean test kit and everything was in Korean, the instructions were in Korean, and I had to Google like how to read the results and I wasn't sure if it was even accurate. So that thought was just in my mind that I am possibly pregnant, but I'm not sure if I'm 100% pregnant. So we went back to Singapore, we went to the gynae, we did a check, and that was the very first time I heard the baby's heartbeat. And yeah, it was really surreal and I was overjoyed. I mean, I was overjoyed because I was going to become a mom and I'm going to enter like a new phase of my life and, you know, experience something that I've never experienced before. And it made me even happier to see James super happy. Like, he was just smiling all the way and it was just a very happy and joyous occasion for James and I. Do you have severe morning sickness? So in my first trimester, I guess that was probably like the worst part of the pregnancy in terms of how I was feeling physically. I didn't get very severe morning sickness, to be honest, but I did feel not my 100%. I was definitely very, very tired all the time, and it was partially because I was also not sleeping well and not sleeping enough. I was just working and trying to be as normal as I could be. And the worst thing is that, you know, in your first trimester, this entire thing is still kept a secret and not everybody, in fact nobody knew about it. So I still had to like carry on with my life as if everything were normal. But like during a lot of meetings, I remember feeling very tired and very drained, and I was really just hoping to like get out for a while and take a breather, but I still had to look like, you know, I'm there, I'm physically there. So I think it was a bit challenging, but in terms of symptoms, I think I'm quite lucky because I didn't really throw up my food at all. In fact, the worst that I remember was during a train ride from Singapore to Bangkok with Belman. It was a beautiful train ride and it was a wonderful experience, but I was so motion sick like for the most part of it. Even though like dinner that was served was so amazing, I couldn't fully enjoy it and my appetite was just very on and off. Like I couldn't really eat the same kind of food, like the same cuisine for a long time, a prolonged period. So even in Korea, during like our 1 to 2 week stint there, I got so sick of Korean food that up till this point I'm still quite averse to Korean food. So answering another question about food cravings, I actually do not have any food cravings. I still love eating.
I mean, there was a point in time before you found out you're pregnant, you kept asking for mala.
Oh yes!
And there was a week we spent every single day.
Oh my god, yes! Okay, so this happened before Korea. I just went mad on mala. I have no idea like how and why, because I'm not even a super mala person, but I just went really all out. We ate mala every single day, some days lunch and dinner, and I even went to the extent of getting like the mala chips. I asked Dane to pass me mala chips during the meeting.
You went bonkers for mala.
I guess like I have a few questions with regards to my skin type, any changes I've made in my skincare and my makeup. I actually have already answered all of that in another video, so I'm just gonna link it right here, and if you are keen to find out how my makeup and my skincare routine has changed, just head over to that video. Okay, I've also received some questions regarding to traveling during my pregnancy. Someone asked how many times I've traveled since getting pregnant and whether traveling during my pregnancy is safe and if there's any difference at all. So I actually I was actually on my way back from Korea, and that was when I found out I was pregnant. So I was actually in Korea and pregnant at the same time. That wasn't very different. I mean, it just felt like a normal trip because for the most part of that trip I had no idea I was pregnant. And then we came back for like a week and then we were off to Dubai. That trip especially was a little bit more difficult because it was a work trip as well, and we had a full day itinerary, but we actually told the client, actually she was the first person that found out we were pregnant, right? And we had to alter parts of the itinerary because I couldn't do like the adventure parks and all that stuff that they had planned. I changed some parts like the massage because I wanted to avoid anything that could potentially affect the pregnancy. So I had to make some changes like that. But in terms of how I travel, I would say not so chiong. Like I didn't like go my all-out 100%. I was a lot more laid back. I stayed in my room so much more because I was still in my first trimester, and I actually asked my gynae if it is possible to travel in my first trimester. Of course it is not recommended because that's probably the most dangerous part of the entire pregnancy. It's not stable, and I had no choice because everything was already booked. So I did my best to just stay in my room for as much as possible, get as much sleep as I needed, eat well, and yeah. So that trip was fine. Prior to that trip, I took an immunity jab. I think it's to help boost my immunity so I don't get sick. So that was just what I had in my first trimester. I pushed my Bali trip that was also planned in my first trimester to my second. Honestly, I felt a little bit under the weather during my Bali trip. I wasn't my 100% yet, but soon after it got better. And I actually have lost count of the number of trips I've taken. Oh, Carol asks, what week does the baby bump usually appear? Well, for me, I think it really started showing late in my second trimester. I think it's quite late for me because most people usually start showing like at week 20, if I'm not wrong. I think this might be just an average kind of thing, and it definitely varies from person to person. I don't think it matters either, as long as the baby's growing well and healthy. Some people just hide it really well because of their body shape and body type and size. For me, I'm generally very small, and I don't know why my baby wasn't showing that early, and also maybe because this is my first one. They say that women that have a second and third and fourth child usually start showing earlier. Okay, someone asked when I started informing my parents and my in-laws about the pregnancy and if it was only during the second trimester. No, we actually informed them towards the end of my first trimester. So at that time I was going to 12 weeks or maybe like 10, 11, 12 weeks, and that was when we started revealing it a little bit at a time, first to James's mom, and then to my mom, and then to his dad, and then to the rest of my siblings, and yeah, towards the end of my first trimester. So they kind of knew it before I entered my second trimester. It was a pity though because James's dad is actually a gynae himself. Well, he's retired now, but he had like a ton of recommendations for us in terms of like who to go, who to see, and all his other doctor friends. But because we hadn't told him from the start, we had already settled on a gynae, or we were already seeing a gynae, and then we decided to just stick with her all the way until now. This is Michelle who asked if I feel that I was already carrying a baby boy without knowing his gender and if I had any sixth sense. To be honest, no, I had no inclination at all whether it was a girl or a boy, and I was very much influenced by what everybody was telling me. And because everybody kept saying, you look like you're having a baby boy, and then maybe a part of my brain like kind of believed them. So I don't know if it was my own sixth sense or if it was because people were telling me I looked like I was having a boy. And then when James said he felt like it was a girl, then I started believing, oh, actually it might be a girl. Then when
That's completely wrong though.
I've got like a ton of questions on my weight, how much weight I've gained, and some people say I don't look like I grew any fatter, just my belly becoming bigger, and what I eat for that to happen. To be honest, I've never once controlled my diet because it is really challenging for me to control what I eat. I really am a food person and I love to eat what I love to eat. I guess I'm just lucky that I'm still quite small. Everywhere else, I find it very hard to put on weight in general for almost like my entire life. And I guess my core is quite strong. I mean, it has been strong because of all the physical activity I was doing back in school, and maybe that might have helped a bit in terms of like how the belly is growing and how much it's pushing. Not to the side but very much forward, or also maybe because it's a baby boy and people say boys always grow very pointy and sharp and not like on the side. So from the back I still look like really skinny, but only from the side and from the front you can tell that I'm pregnant. I actually have no advice on what to eat. I guess keeping a balanced and healthy diet is important, and that's what everybody would say. And I'm also trying to do that because my diet is not exactly the best or the most healthy.
I think your healthy lifestyle has, not healthy lifestyle, your active lifestyle has helped a bit. Like,
I mean, definitely. I
always
actually
moving around.
I actually haven't exercised as much as I wish I had, but I don't know. I think I've been walking a lot and I've been on the go so much that I'm hardly ever sitting down. I'm always, I do sit down to work, but I'm always like rushing from place to place and always walking and always moving. So at this point, I think I've gained about 7 to 8 kg. I started off around 43 and now I'm like around 50, going to 51 hopefully by my next appointment. I'm left with 2.5 to 3 weeks. I don't know when the baby will be out, and usually they say that the estimated weight gain is like 10 to 20 kg. It's a very wide range. I'm slightly under 10, but hopefully I'll get to 10 soon. Another question relating to my nutrition and diet is about specific vitamins and supplements that I'm currently taking. Actually, I'm just taking everything that is given to me by my gynae, which are calcium pills, 1000 mg a day, fish oil, and multivitamins. Oh my god, I forgot for a moment what the third one was, because I always know I have 3 things to take. And on top of that, I supplement my nutrition with the hair, skin and nails from Swiss. That's pregnancy safe, and yeah, that's all. Right? That's all. Natural or C-section? I think natural. I mean, I would prefer to do natural if, fingers crossed, everything goes well. Yeah.
The thought of going under the knife and having yourself cut up is a bit scary.
Both are equally scary.
But then again, like having
this huge thing come out of my thing is
3
really
kg thing come out of your thing is also a bit scary. I don't know, you're in a tough position.
I always see you are very active. Do your ankles swell, or what do you do to help prevent? To be honest, I've been feeling okay all the way until my 3rd trimester, because right now the baby is getting really heavy. I just visited the gynae yesterday and he's already 2.7 kilograms. My feet don't actually swell, and I'm actually really lucky I don't have any water retention yet, maybe. But maybe keeping active by walking a lot would really help. And I think my weekly massages really has helped me to, go that extra mile. I always feel very tired, especially in my legs and on my feet and on my lower back, but after every single massage I feel super recharged and like back to my 100%. But I don't know, it doesn't last long. Like, I feel like at my 100% right after it, and for the next few days, and then it gets like worse, and then really bad, and then the massage comes again, and then I'm back at my 100%. 2 people actually asked me which doctor I'm seeing right now, and someone even figured who my doctor is. She asked, is your gynae Dr. Go? I don't know where she found out from, but yes, I'm seeing Dr. Go, and she's at Mount A, and that's why I'm also delivering there. Yvonne asked, how much is my total hospital bill and gynae fees. I can't really give you like the exact amount right now because I haven't fully paid for it, but I think it'll be an estimate of around $15,000, right, Babs?
I don't know, it's an estimation. You'll probably have to like
I think it'll be around like
properly
10
calculate
to
everything.
15K.
Yeah, 10 to 15.
And that is assuming that I'm gonna proceed with natural delivery, I guess. If it's an emergency C-section, then it's gonna add up. Someone asked like how many kids we want. Do you have a number?
I mean, my original answer was like more than one.
Okay, I think we'll try with one and then we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Someone asked if I get extra tired and sleepy now that I'm pregnant and still working so much and so hard. I think given like the pace of my work and the volume of it, or you know how things are, even a non-pregnant woman would be tired. James is tired. He's the pregnant dad.
Yeah.
I think we're tired largely because we don't sleep enough. It is very stressful in the sense that we are out and about throughout the entire day and we only actually get to sit down and work, like reply emails and get all the admin done, you know, write my blog post and do everything else I need like way into the night, and before we know it, like it's past 12, it's past 1, it's past 2, and the next morning we are back on a 8 a.m. alarm. And I wouldn't say I'm tired, but I'm sleepy. So like sometimes in the day I'm fighting to sleep, and I mean to stay awake, and I try and catch like a little nap here and there whenever I can in the car. So yeah, it's been like that for a while now, especially since coming back from my trip. But hopefully once I deliver, I'll get more sleep. Actually, that's the reverse. People say I better sleep now because after the baby comes, I'm not gonna get sleep. But actually, I think it's gonna be the opposite for me because I'll be home like for the entire day. I'll be under confinement, so it means I'll be able to sleep, and my confinement nanny can help me when I'm sleeping. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. In Sus asked, how has your relationship with James changed after you're pregnant? I don't know if it has changed much or at all, but definitely I think we have arrived at a whole new level, because he has been extra sensitive towards my needs and been showing so much care and concern and selflessness for me. It really makes me feel very appreciative and very thankful to have him by my side almost 24/7. And why your face like that?
What?
But yeah, I really mean it, and I think it's wonderful because you know sometimes when you're put in a circumstance, then like it gives you that opportunity to prove something. And I guess this pregnancy has been that circumstance, and he's been, you know, standing in for me every single time I feel like I cannot do something, and he's been the most patient person. I mean, he's already a very patient person, but like all these characteristics and traits have just evolved to a whole new level. And every single time I think about my son, I wish he would be just like James for his wife next time, or you know, as a person or as a dad. Rachel Fong asked how I'm feeling about the actual birth, and some other people have asked about whether or not I'm gonna do epidural or like 100% natural. Okay, my thoughts about the actual birth is I don't really have thoughts about it. I'm of course nervous and scared, but I'm also very excited. And you know, like being my first pregnancy and my first birth, childbirth experience, I think like not knowing what to expect and what to come is slightly blissful in a way. They say it's like the most painful thing you'll experience in your life, but I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, and I'm just pretty much like very chill about it. Whether or not I want to do epidural or not, I actually also haven't decided. In my mind, my pain tolerance is high for certain things, and I'm very strong-willed, and I guess I always think mind over matter. But for me, I think a very important part of this whole idea is whether or not I know what the end point would be. And for me, in this entire, you know, childbirth process, it would be to find out like how long more I need to endure this pain for, or how long more I need to be in that kind of intensive pain before the baby's gonna actually pop. But definitely there's no way of knowing, and some people take forever to dilate. Some people like get it over and done with in 2 to 3 hours. Well, if I would know like at this point that it's gonna be a short birth, I think I would be able to deal with it without epidural. But given the circumstance that, you know, it might last for like 10, 20 hours, I might actually opt for epidural because I want to enjoy the pregnancy and the birth process and not be too frightened and and might tell James like, okay, this is the last one, no more after this. Jolyn said, can we have a nursery room tour soon? Yes, I would really love to do a nursery room tour, and I'm working towards it. I'm actually really nervous because it is still very much in progress, and given that I can pop actually any time from 37 weeks onwards, although unlikely, or in my mind I'm convincing myself that it is unlikely, I'm trying to buy time so that I can get my nursery ready, film a proper nursery tour for you guys, and put in my heart and mind into all the little details that I want to. Hazy Cat asks, will I be breastfeeding? Yes, I will be, and I'm very determined to breastfeed because I think it's very important and it's very beneficial for the baby and for me as well, both ways. They say that breastfeeding might be a very difficult journey, but I feel like with proper preparation, it'll be easier to embrace that journey, and definitely that there are options to seek help everywhere, and if I do encounter any difficulties, I'll try my best to get help, or you know, speak to a lactation consultant or friends that have breastfed before. I'm very determined to breastfeed my son so I can bond with him, and there's really nothing in this world that can replace breast milk. Someone has asked about the breast pump brand that I'm using and the entire range of milk bottles and stuff. Right now, the entire set that I got is from Higan. I don't have much to say about it because I obviously haven't used it, but what I really like about it is that it's small, and because I think I'll be on the go quite a bit, I think it'll be very convenient. And the bottles have multiple usage. I can actually keep it for a very long time, and it can actually transform into like a little container to put his snacks and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna go with that for now and see whether or not it sits well with the baby when he's born. So taking on one last question from Sandra, she said, your fashion during pregnancy is amazing. I love all your dresses. I actually have been trying my best to just wear like normal clothes for as long as I thought I could, until the 3rd trimester where I started growing so fast and so big. I decided to invest in some maternity wear, and I feel like it's so stupid because it's a bit late. It's like if I want to buy all these beautiful maternity clothing, I should have just gotten them earlier, and I could have used them longer and not have issues where I look into my cupboard and be like, shucks, I like to wear this but it's a bit tight here, and I have to make do with like styling it differently and so on and so forth. So I would really recommend getting maternity wear or pregnancy friendly clothes from as early as you like. I mean, like from the minute you figure you're pregnant, I think it's already okay to start buying because you can already wear them like immediately, and you can actually have it last through all the way till you deliver, because these pregnancy friendly or maternity friendly clothes are also breastfeeding friendly. Like the recent ones that I got from Jump Eat Cry, right, can open up like on the side. They have a side zipper here or here where you can just like flip it open and breastfeed your child. So these pieces are definitely good investment pieces if you want to breastfeed, and if you will need them. I'm saying that eventually you'll need them, so just get them like earlier. I've been just getting like normal clothes but like a size bigger from my usual, so I'm usually XS. Then like when I shop at Zara, or if I shop online or buy any other clothes, especially in my 2nd trimester, I started buying like one size up so I could still fit them because they would be bigger at the waist. But now I can't fit them, and then I'm left with this bunch of clothes that are like in that in-between size. So yeah, I hope you don't do the same thing as me because it's really dumb. Silent Heart Cry made an assumption. She said, you're really chill and relaxed about and during the whole pregnancy. You're absolutely right, and I think I'm too chill and too relaxed. And for people that are like me, I highly recommend that you don't be as chill. you can still be relaxed, but you know, like pick up the pace, because right now I'm not chill nor relaxed anymore. Like the clock is ticking and it can happen anytime, and I'm not fully prepared, and it is like borderline stressful. So while you want to, like, you know, take your time and enjoy and indulge in every moment, I think it's important to keep pace and take note of all the different parts that you need to get ready. My hospital bag is not ready, neither is my nursery. I haven't bought everything I need, like for the baby in terms of clothes and his bathtub and God knows what, but I am going to try and settle that, like, actually today. After this, we're going shopping.
Yes, we are. We have to.
Yes. So yeah, that's my advice for people that are chill and relaxed like me, or maybe just a procrastinator in general. Because, you know, before you know it, you'll be at your third trimester, at your 37, 38 and 39th week, and you definitely would rather be a little more like panicky and anxious at the start, get all that settled, and then relax and enjoy for the rest of it. So okay, that's all that I'm going to take in terms of questions from this Q&A. I hope I managed to answer yours, or through my sharing, you know, some parts of your questions, even if I didn't directly answer your question, would have been answered. And I hope that whatever I've shared in this video will be helpful to you or insightful in one way or another. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!